Our first group of guests had departed, and for the first time in what felt like weeks, the house was quiet again. Before the next group arrived, we had a few precious days to ourselves, and we decided to use some of that time showing Dad a few corners of Tuscany he'd never visited before. One morning we drove to Marina Deisa, a laid-back seaside town where the river Arno meets the sea. It's a quieter place than many of Tuscany's better-known coastal resorts, with a pretty marina, fishing boats bobbing in the harbour, and a long promenade stretching along the waterfront. The beach here is a little unusual. Instead of sand, it's covered in smooth, white marble pebbles, worn down by years of waves and weather. They're wonderfully clean and bright, but not exactly forgiving if you decide to sit down for too long. We strolled along the seafront, enjoying the sea air and watching the world go by before stopping at a small cafe for a light lunch in the sunshine.
I feel like I haven't checked in with you guys for ages. I haven't picked up the camera and filmed properly for a good few days. So currently we're in the middle of our second group of guests. Now this one is a very, very different feeling from the first one, just because there's much less people. So unfortunately one of the couples had to drop out last minute, and it's much smaller. So it's actually much more relaxed and much easier to look after everybody, and we've been doing all the same activities and things. At the moment the ladies are inside with Christina from the eco printing. They actually asked if they could book a lesson, so they're doing an eco printing lesson and they're making their own scarves, and the scarves are cooking at the moment. And yes, we've been having a lovely time. The weather has completely changed. It is now full on summer. Europe has been in the grip of a massive heat wave, and it's been about 31-32 degrees the last 3 or 4 days. It's been a little bit too hot, but we've all coped really well and have been having a great time. Dad has been here for 3 weeks now. He's actually flying back tomorrow, which is really sad, but I think he's had a lovely time. In the week between the two retreats, I took him to Pisa and gave him a tour of Pisa city, and then we went to Florence as well one day, and I took him all around there. He'd never been to Florence before, so that was good fun. Then it got really hot, so we calmed down a bit and just spent a little bit more time at home. Carlo and I have had our first swim in the pool, which has been lovely. We've managed to squeeze it in the afternoons. And tonight we're having a barbecue at Claire and Andy's by the pool, which is one of my favourite evenings of the week.
This is the blanket on top.
Oh, okay. Oh.
This is the blanket. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, what do you do with that? That's gorge. It's chestnut. Look at the maple.
So the different plants make.
Oh my gosh, look at this maple. Nice. Very nice. Thank you so much.
Some leaves.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Ooh, green. I guess the chlorophyll or something comes through.
Oh my gosh,
30th of May, and I wanted to give you a quick garden update because it's 9 o'clock in the morning and me, Carla and Giovanni are wandering around the vegetable garden and everything is growing. There's so much food. I just want to show you because I haven't updated you for probably about 10 days. So let's go and have a look. So it's actually rained a bit in the last couple of days and everything has doubled in size, except for Holly. And it all looks amazing, but let me show you what's growing. So we've got 3 cucumber plants along here, and all of a sudden, we have quite a big cucumber growing.
Oh, see.
These flowers will be cucumbers as well. So that's something new. This is the raspberry plant that I planted only a week ago, not even, but yeah, it's got a bud here. Another cucumber plant. And a blackberry bush and a cucumber plant that's growing all the way up there. Can't see any cucumbers on that one yet, but the onions are doing great. Now we don't harvest the onions until the outer leaves wither and die, so that'll be much later on in the summer. Our tomatoes are doing incredibly well. Come and see how many tomatoes we've got. There's so many growing, we're going to have a lot of canning to do, but they're growing all the way along. So down here, we thought this wasn't going to grow, but it's actually started to grow really well. This is melon plant, so I'm really curious to see if we'll actually get melons later on in the year. Now here, these are our French beans, and yesterday I was weeding and I realised that we have lots of French beans already. So I'm going to come along later on today and pick my first harvest of French beans. I've already been munching on a couple of these raw this morning. Which reminds me of when I was little, because Dad always had French beans and I always used to steal them out the garden. I was a bit worried about the sweet potato plants because I know that they're supposed to spread and grow vines all around the bed, and they weren't doing it. But now they've started throwing out long vines and I think they're looking very healthy. The aubergine, the eggplant, is not looking so healthy, but it seems to be coming back to life. It maybe had a shock when it was planted there, but it might be surviving. Zucchini, there's already a few ready to pick, and the flowers as well. I know over here there's a couple that need to be picked, but look at those flowers. There's one down here, and another one there. Don't judge me on the weeds. I have been weeding every single day. I've been putting in about 3-4 hours work every day weeding, and they just keep coming back, especially because it's rained. This is why I didn't want to plough the garden and I wanted to do no dig beds, but we'll give that a go next year and hopefully we'll have a different result. Yeah, about 5 days ago I had this bed clean of weeds. There was no weeds in it at all. Look at it now. They're tying up the tomato vines. So we have this little tape machine that you can just fix it to. As it grows, you just fix it so it doesn't droop. Make it higher and higher.
Sì, in 3. Allora, questa macchinetta è di Giovanni, no? E ce l'ha anche Luca, ovviamente, a Positano. Ed è una semplicità estrema. Basta mettere un rocchetto di nylon qui e le piccole graffettine. Che cosa fa? Preme la prima volta, acchiappa il nastro e poi si fa questa roba qui. Fa così.
Questa pinza.
Ecco, fatto.
Il nastro che usiamo per legare i pomodori è biologico.
So you don't have to...
Biological material.
Okay.
Okay?
So it just...
È degradabile,
Yeah.
voglio dire.
Biodegradabile.
Yeah,
Sì.
brilliant.
Sì, ovviamente, sì.
Zucchina. Dato una ramata su quelli lì un po' più, come si dice? Un po' più
Piccolini.
Sì, amico, guardalo perché anche assaggia.
With these lettuces, if you pick the outer leaves, it just keeps growing, so you don't have to replant them, which is really good. And I've been doing it for a while already, and they do grow back quite quickly. So I'm just helping myself because these are really nice. They're nice and sweet, they're not bitter. and they're fast becoming my favourite mix. I mix these ones, all three together, with some ugra. Look at that! And this is after what, 6 weeks after we planted everything? So, okay, we planted starts and not seeds, but 6 weeks, I did not expect to get that much food.
Lui non mangia l'insalata, è vero Olli?
No, sta deciso.
Oh.
Quindi lascia stare.
E quando abbiamo finito la raccolta, quando abbiamo finito di fare quello che vogliamo fare, ci godiamo l'orto in questo caso. Guarda, guarda, che bella veduta.
Whatever you do not rock backwards because Holly is right underneath you.
Non ti preoccupare, non farò, anche se questa sedia è un po' rotta qui, vabbè. E questo è il mio punto di vista. È bellissimo, ci sei anche tu Nicki, bellissima.
I've just been picking some vegetables in the garden that I'm going to take over to friends in the village. But as I was doing it, I heard a lot of motorbikes going up to the village on the road. And I remember last year we went into the village and it was just complete coincidence, and there was a bikers festival there and there was hundreds and hundreds of bikes pouring through the village, and we got there in that exact moment that they were all driving through, and it was really, really fun to watch. And then they all went and parked in the big car park, and there was food and there was music, and it was actually a really good afternoon. So obviously they're doing the same again today, and it is a public holiday today. So we're going to jump in the car. We were going to go and take these vegetables to friends anyway, so we've got to go through the village and stop actually in the centre of the village. So we thought we'd take you with us and see what's happening. Now I've got 2 bags full for friends, and I've got a big Roman lettuce, some curly red lettuce, a little bunch of rocket, some French beans and some zucchini. We've just got so many. I planted way too much stuff, so I'm just giving some of it away. Today is my ideal weather conditions. It's warm and it's hazy. I love it when it's like this. This is just perfect. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. I can wear nice clothes, don't have to put a coat on, but I don't get frazzled by the sun. Absolutely ideal.
Sì, è davvero bello. Andiamo a vedere le mote adesso.
Yeah, let's go. Minutes now, and I think the last of the bikes are going past, the 2 cars coming through now. 8 minutes of absolute chaos. I think we've missed it in the village, but we've definitely seen it on the road. Okay, so we missed the parade in the village, but we saw it down on the road, and now I'm walking in because I've got to give these to a friend, and they live right in the centre of the village. where they've all ended up. This is the town car park, and they will have some food stalls over there. So it's just 2 days later and there's so many beans. I've been picking beans from all of these plants. This is what I've got so far, and I picked some earlier on for lunch, and I also picked some yesterday. We're going to be eating beans for weeks, I'm sure, but I'm sure I'll give some away. But I just found on 2 plants there's aphids, so I've quickly given Luca a call back in Positano. He was in our garden and he's told me to get a litre spray bottle and put half an espresso cup of washing up liquid and then the rest with water, and then spray all the plants very early in the morning. So I'm going to do that tomorrow morning, and hopefully it'll get rid of the aphids with me, so I won't have to go and get any chemical sprays or anything. So I will try that, even though washing up liquid probably is chemical, but I'm going to try that. There's only 2 plants, so it's not too bad at the moment. Other than that, everything's looking really, really healthy. I'm so surprised that we've managed to pull this off, but it's been so easy, and it's so satisfying being able to get food from the garden, and I know we've done it for years in Positano, but it's just really nice to be able to do it here as well, and I'm going to keep going, definitely. It is hard work. I mean, it's not full time, but I'm here at least 2 or 3 hours every day, weeding and looking after stuff and watering and checking everything's okay. And it's also a bit time consuming, a bit like having a dog. You can't go anywhere. I thought we've got 2 weeks before our next group of people coming to stay, and I thought, oh, we could go back to Positano for a couple of weeks. And then Dad said, well, you can't, because all your vegetables are going to be ready in the next week or 2. You can't just leave them. And he's right, we can't just leave them. I mean, yeah, we could have somebody come and look after it for us, but what's the point in growing vegetables if you're not going to be here to eat them? So we're here, and we will have to go back to Positano another time. Beans, beans, more beans. It's a shame I don't like freezing beans. They get all soggy, not very nice when they're frozen. We'll just have to eat lots and lots of beans. 2 days ago we picked a load of zucchini. It is ridiculous how fast they grow. These need to be picked before they turn into marrows. And I've just noticed the pea pods. Peas are very tiny still, but they're there. What are you thinking now?
Stavo progettando qualcosa.
A treehouse?
No, più che altro un terrazzino, non una casa perché non è l'albero giusto, non va bene. Un terrazzino perché la vista da quel lato è molto bella, però ho pensato se si va un po' più fuori, quindi se faccio un terrazzino ci avremo la vista di là migliore.
Is it necessary?
No, ma è qualcosa di carino che posso fare, perché non farlo?
Ok.
Non costerà tantissimo, ovviamente ci avrà un costo, devo comprare la legna, lo farò con la legna, qualcosa da mettere con un po' di viti, un po' di legna.
Okay, so we're not going to do the roof project in the back veranda at the moment.
No, quello è un po' più complicato, questo è un po' più facile per me.
And fun, obviously.
Sì, sì.
Okay.
Per là si tratta di togliere qualcosa, qui si tratta di aggiungere qualcosa, questo mi piace.
But maybe you could take stuff from there and put it here.
No.
No? Okay.
Non è il stesso tipo di legno che ci vuole a fare. Qua ci vuole un legno un po' più resistente, se no rischiamo di cadere giù.
Okay. So is that what you're going to start doing today?
Ci provo, almeno c'è la legna da andare a prendere, quindi mi servirà un po' di legna da prendere. Ci vuole un po'.
Okay.
Posso iniziare a progettare oggi e poi iniziare a fare magari domani, non lo so.
So what's the view like from there? Com'è da là? Bella.
Ecco, la vista è molto bella, solo che la dovrei vedere dall'altra parte perché ci sono i rami in mezzo. Sì, è tutta un'altra cosa da qua. Vuoi provare a vedere?
Sì.
Dai, vieni. Stai attenta.
One thing's for sure, if you're going to do this, you're going to have to stop throwing the ash from the fire down there.
Sì,
That's ugly.
È solo cenere, fa bene al terreno.
I know. We should be saving it to put in the garden around the vegetables.
Sì.
It is caper season. Yesterday I realised that the capers had already started to flower, which meant it was time to pick them and it's time to put them in jars. So I've still actually got a jar left from last year and I'm just gonna sort these ones out. But yesterday I went and picked a whole load. I need to pick some more, but I need a ladder, so it's a bit of a precarious position where the capers are. So basically caper plants grow spontaneously, usually on walls in Italy anyway. And they're very hard to plant. They're not an easy plant to cultivate. And all I'm doing here is just pinching off the stalks because some of them have got longer stalks on and you don't need the stalks. They smell really capery as well. So basically the capers are the buds of flowers before they flower. And the flowers are beautiful. They're a bit like passion fruit flowers. But I've got to do this. And basically all I'm going to do is put them in the jar with lots of rock salt and then leave them for a month. After a week, I'll sort of drain, there's a bit of liquid will come out. So I'll open it up and drain the liquid out. But then leave it for a month and then they're pretty much ready. And what I found last year was that the longer you leave them, the better they get. I tried them after a month and they didn't have much flavour. But then I sort of forgot about them and tried again about 5 months later or something, and they were much, much better. So I prefer my capers in salt rather than the ones that are served in brine or vinegar or whatever. And I use them in all sorts of recipes. One thing I like to do with them is put them, so if I'm going to do some, let's say some simple fish, so some whitefish, cod, here you sort of get cod frozen and it's quite big frozen sort of cod steaks, and I will cook them in the oven with a little bit of white wine, some cherry tomatoes, capers and olives and a sprinkle of olive oil, and just let them cook in the oven for about 20 minutes. It's really, really nice. Now the trick is getting the capers and the salt to mix together. Okay, so this is a caper bush. Now these are really big, so these are about to flower and they're actually very soft and squishy. Now the flowers, some of these flowers are past their best at the moment. I was telling you how beautiful they were, but they're really not looking great. You can see here, there's lots of caper buds and you just nick them off like that. That one's almost a flower, so that will turn into a flower in the next day or two. And these ones are all a bit too big.